Let's see if it totally works. That's what we built yesterday. Top chat. Perfect. Not what I want. Go away. Oh my god. I just killed Chitoli. Poor Chitoli. Let's make it this way. Chitoli. Now we enter our live stream URL. And let's make this a little smaller. I thought I added transparency. Well, I guess I did not. Is this a good place for the chat app? No. Let's put it over here. Then we can kill this terminal. And Chitoli is gone again. Chitoli, and now let's start you in the background. Perfect. Alrighty. So this looks okay. What are we doing here? Well, I have built a voice transcription app based on Whisper CPP like everybody else does, but mine was handcrafted in C. So all the business logic is in C, just because I can. And then I have operating system specific implementations for UI stuff. UI is basically this. Oh, let me run CLI. God damn you. Actually, I don't think that's the version that has CLI. Oh. Built bin Mac Jaggedy. Okay. As you can see up here, there's a little tray icon and you can select stuff. But currently I'm battling macOS permissions. The app uses a keylogger to recognize a hotkey that you can press to start recording and transcribing. So it needs permission. It needs the accessibility permission to do that, as well as the input monitoring permission on macOS 15 and upwards. And currently, this bullshit doesn't work. So I need to manually add the stupid app. This one. And now it's here. Now, if I click this, it shouldn't ask for it again, but it does, because it's terrible. And this is what I'm trying to solve with Claude. As you can see here, I have used my trusty to-dos system, which is just it's just a state machine that Claude follows, which helps me keep track of the things I want to do. So basically, I go through the sources, or I use the app and I find something I need to fix or add later on. I just open this to-dos MD and jot down a sloppy little to-do. And eventually, if I want to turn this into a feature or a bug fix, I run my to-do command. And that first checks if there's a project description, which should give Claude a bit of an overview of where things are and what this is about. If that's not existing yet, just builds this project description by using parallel task agents that analyze the entire project along different verticals, and then outputs the project description following this template here. Then it checks if there's any orphaned tasks, that is, tasks I haven't fully completed yet. They would show up here as MD files. And if no orphan tasks are available, it would read the to-dos MD, display all of these, and like in a text adventure, ask me which one I want to work on. I pick one, it creates a new entry here in the work folder with a timestamp and the task title slug that it derives from the contents of the to-do. And then it spits out a file named task.md in this newly created directory, which contains the initial template. and the original to do, the sloppy one. And then we just refine this using this state machine state, where Claude and I iterate on the contents of the description based on some analysis of the code base with respect to the original to do. And then we come up with an implementation plan which uses checkboxes for state tracking. So this taskmd file then is an expanded version of the sloppy to do from here. And Claude can then work through the implementation plan, or we can modify the implementation plan if we find something that doesn't work or needs refactoring or whatever. And anytime Claude finishes one of these implementation plan steps, it just puts an X in the taskmd file, so we can pick up from where we left if I close the session and restart it for some reason. And that's pretty much it. And the implementation step is just me and Claude going through the checkboxes one by one, implementing them, staging changes, testing changes, and eventually signing off if all of the checkboxes have been checked, which will result in the taskmd file and the analysis file being moved over here. As you can see, there's already a bunch of stuff. Like this is the voice activation detection feature I wanted. So the original to do was implement VAD as per the Whisper CPP README, and then we expanded that into this description and into this implementation plan, which gives more details, specifically files involved and what needs to be changed in these files. And that is based on an analysis that's created by a couple of parallel task agents or sub agents, I guess, which just run through the code base based on the description and try to figure out what we need to do in the code base to implement what's described in the description. It's very simple. It's only 150 lines of markdown, not even. But it's a reliable state machine, and it allows me to survive compaction, to survive session closing and reopening. And it's very nice to work in a structured way like this. There's also a worktree based one where I can work on the same project with multiple agents in parallel. Then the work folder just becomes a folder that contains multiple subdirectories, one per worktree, and each worktree corresponds to one task. And since those are fully isolated, more or less shallow clones of the repository, I can work there in parallel, which is nice. What this doesn't do is open fucking, I don't know, GitHub issues for you and manage the whole parallel workflow on GitHub for you. I find this to take too much time. And it would be super fucking easy to modify this to do this to be program quotes or prompt to use GitHub issues instead of the taskmd file. But why? That's just round trips through the CLI using the GitHub CLI, for example, and additional noise in the context, and keeping things in the on disk locally and only touching GitHub at the end when we're done with this, or for intermediate steps when we want to checkpoint things. That's fine. It's not great if you work in a team. For that I have another to do with GitHub issue-based flow, but it's not as nice as this for solo work. So why I'm telling you all of this? Because we're not going to use this. The reason is that this permission stuff is exploratory in nature. So it's not something where I have a good handle on how this should be implemented or what needs fixing. So it's very hard for me to actually come up with a good description for this and a good implementation plan that I know Claude could mostly autonomously implement without me having to babysit it through all the checkboxes. So instead, I'm just throwing shit at the wall. I'm not even in a different branch. I'm actually probably on main. Yeah, probably on main. So I started out with a clean main checkout, and anything that happens during our session or sessions, I don't care. This is probably maybe later just going to be discarded, and then I can create a proper task from it, because I then understand the problem and I can better instruct Claude how to construct this file and then work autonomously. Anyways, we're in the shit throwing stage, and that means let me just make this this a little bit bigger. And that means investigating what the actual problem is. And here's the problem. So I need two permissions, and I already had Claude write me a little permission file. Bash script that just runs through the system and user-wide permissions, and then checks whether we have entries for our application for accessibility permission, the input monitoring permission, and the microphone permission. So these two are needed for the key logging to detect the hotkey of the transcription app, and this one is obviously needed to record audio. All of these three fucking permissions go through a different API to check whether the permission was granted. To open up the system dialog, like the input monitoring in privacy and security or the accessibility in privacy and security, that should be opened automatically by the app, I think, if the permission isn't granted. The problem with that is there is no standardized API that allows you to do that. The second problem is, for some permissions, there is an API you can call that opens up this setting dialog and will add the executable of your current process to the list automatically. So the user doesn't have to click on this fucking button here and select the application and find it on disk. Instead, it's gonna be pre-populated. It's just that the toggle will be off, and all the new user needs to do is click the freaking toggle, and then we got the permission. So different APIs for different permissions, entirely insane. Some of the permissions, like the microphone permission, are handled like this. So you can't even remove or add the app here. That's an entirely different flow UX-wise. Apple sucks at this. I'm not sure why everybody is being held hostage. Stockholm syndrome, like, this is terrible. Like, this is the worst fucking thing. And to add insult to injury, I'm rebuilding the binaries here for the app. There's two versions. One is a CLI version, which doesn't have the tray icon up here, but otherwise provides the full functionality of the transcription pipeline. It's just that you have to configure the app not through a nice fancy user interface, but through editing a good old config.ini. God damn it, I can't type anymore. Where you just specify the key combo in a very not good way. Then this is just state to track whether we should show additional dialogues that ask you to confirm or deny running this on startup, stuff like that. The language, which can also be auto, whether to launch at login, and whether the voice activation detection should be enabled or not. There's additional configurations you can put in here. Anyways, if you run the CLI, you have to write this yourself manually, which kind of sucks because the key combo thing is not super obvious and it's platform dependent. Or you run the Yakety app, which is basically the CLI plus the tray icon up here. And this one will also check the permissions and try to open up the system dialogues for the user automatically. And that doesn't fucking work, and this is what we are going to trying to fix. The first thing to fix is actually detecting whether we have these permissions granted or whether the user has granted us these permissions. This is all very macOS specific, so I have this here, which according to some Stack Overflow I found should tell us if we have the input monitoring permission or not. Then we have the audio permission, which basically tries to do the same. So there's the authorization status for media type. As you can see, it's not a unified fucking permission system. It's just random shit in some random APIs that you need to know about because it's also badly documented. And then there is another permission, the accessibility permission, and I'm now kind of confused why. Accessibility. Let's see, that should be an M file. App. It's something like AX. Okay. So first thing, let's locate all the permissions. check for the accessibility permission. As I'm working on the Acadea, I'm currently not running it, so I have to type like an ape. Yes, okay, so this is not very nice. Where the hell is it? Maybe trusted with object. That's not in here. Keylogger AX is trusted process. Transit not private. If not trusted, return 1. Okay, so the keylogger has an init function that gets called by the application on startup, which tries to set up the keylogging, but if that permission is not granted, it just exits with a -1, which tells the app that we couldn't set up the keylogger, which should trigger the app to stop. How this currently looks is like this. Yakety CLI. Yeah, so it says accessibility permission not granted. Accessibility permission is required but not granted. I don't know why I'm getting this twice. So this is bad. And then it gives the user of the CLI, oh Jesus, what did I do? It gives the user of the CLI instructions on how to do this. So you go to system settings, privacy and security, and then you search for accessibility in this very beautiful list. And then you could theoretically click on this little plus and then select the application you want to grant the permission to, and that should be it. Now, if I run this again, I still get accessibility permission not granted. If I run this permission script, I actually detect that the permission was granted. So what the fuck's going on? But before we kind of work our way through this, I want Claude to clean up all the permission stuff. Let's see. Is the business logic files and source actually calling into any permission related code, or is it just bringing up dialogues handling permission in a platform specific way? So the business logic, as I said earlier, is platform independent. At least it should be. The main app should be in main, I guess. And then let's see what we have here. Permission handling, handle keylogger permission. Yeah, this is really bad. This shouldn't be in the main application. Dialog input monitoring permission. Open input monitoring settings. Dialog wait for set of keylogger. So when the keylogger init fails, it calls the preferences load combination. Oh, if it doesn't fail, then it does all of this. Handle first run. Process recorded audio. Okay, there we go. I have a little app framework which abstracts the CLI and UI versions of this, so the business logic can mostly stay the same irrespective of whether I'm running this through the CLI or as the tray app. And this is the main entry point that's going to be called from the run loop on each platform. So this tries to load the model with a fallback, and then sets up the menu if needed. So if we are the GUI version, we set up a tray icon, and then it sets up the keylogger, checks if this is the first run and shows dialogues if necessary. And that's it. So in the keylogger, we should have the keylogger init, and that one handles internally, platform specifically, the permissions. But no, that's not true. Keylogger int failed, handle permission. User quit or error. Handle keylogger permission. That's still part of main. That's interesting. That shouldn't be the case. Okay, we're first gonna refactor that. We don't want this shit in our this is so bad. Yeah, we don't want this shit in our main business logic. So we want to move that over to the macOS keylogger and move that to here. Okay. We need to clean up the permission handling in main.c. What was that again? Let me move this over here. Actually, let me move this over here permanently. It's not like anybody's gonna come anyways, so let's just move it here, and we have enough space for the remainder of the user interface. There we go. So, what is the problem? In main.c we have this entire logic should be part of the platform specific keylogger. In this case, the macOS keylogger. Let's ignore Windows entirely for now. That has a separate keylogger implementation that doesn't need permissions, because on Windows everything goes. You can just like build the most nastiest keylogger ever and nobody will ever notice. It's fun. Yeah, so this looks good to me. So we move that over to the keylogger in keylogger C. Then as long as this also affects the setup keylogger function, which should just call keylogger init and react to the returned success state. Which means we don't really need setup keylogger and can just call into keylogger init. Can we? No, actually we cannot do this. And I so wished that this stupid edit box in the TUI of Claude could interpret Control K or any other common key combination to delete lines at least, but it doesn't do that. It's great. Terminal UIs are bad for this kind of work. Keylogger init director return success state. No loop required. Okay, that's the first part. Let's see if there's anything else we could clean up in here. I think this is fine. Key press, yeah, I think this is fine. So those 400 lines of C are the entire transcription app basically. And for configuration via dialogues, it just calls into a platform agnostic API that's very simple. So I have different dialogues that are generic. So classic error info confirm. And then I have a dialogue that basically lets the user configure the key combination on which the transcription should start. I have a dialog that lets the user select the model, the Whisper model they want to use and the language they want to use, which can also be set to auto. So any language works, which adds a little bit of latency. I have a model downloading dialog if the user selects a model that's not on disk yet through this dialog. And then I have various permission dialogues, which shouldn't be in here. They should be hidden away in the platform code and triggered by the platform code, like the keylogger, to check if all the permissions have been granted. So let's rework this. Non-loop required. In dialog.h, we have a bunch of Apple specific permission dialog functions. These all need to go. They should be in source Mac and be part of the platform built in CMake, because obviously I'm using CMake And there is a separation between the business logic and the platform specific stuff. So as you can see, this links in the platform specific stuff, including preferences. I don't know why preferences is not in its own thing. Interesting. Oh yeah, because this is actually shared across platforms. I abstracted away the preferences across platforms through POSIX APIs, which also works on Windows. So I have a utils thing that uses POSIX, and Windows does something else, I think. It's all very wonky. I should probably clean this up. In any case, going back to cleaning up the main, set up the menu if needed. Yeah, and in dialog we have this bunch of shit here. In fact, these are all just dialogs that should be. Isn't a terminal UI for this just a perfect fucking thing? Is amazing, right? So in fact, these are all just dialogs that should be triggered by keylogger init if it detects that the permission has not been granted. Also, I believe the function pairs are basically the same. The only difference is the the permission is granted, and the name of the permission which is displayed in the dialog. I only want to. Jesus fucking Christ. This is so bad. It doesn't have enough space vertically because the edit box is already too big. So if it's not entirely on screen, it just redraws the entire fucking history. This is so fucking terrible. I can't believe anybody likes this. I only want 2 functions. Dialog permission. Actually, I only want 1. Only want 1 function. Dialog permission, which takes check function and the permission name, or the permission name label, where the first argument is actually, let's see. Is used to check if the permission was granted. Actually, we need 2 things. We need to have an open system settings function, a check permission granted function. I'm just typing this out like this so Claude has an easier time understanding what these parameters should be. And where the first argument is used to check if the permission, no. And again, I would like to have Control plus K to just delete this line, but instead I need to use backspace, which is amazing. The first arg is a function that should, let's fix this up. System preferences, system preferences. Okay, the first arg is a function that should check if the specific permission was granted. The second arg is a function that will be called once if the first check fails, and it should automatically add the app executable to the list of apps listed for that permission. The final arg is just the label. We display the dialog. Oh my god. This functionality should go into a file called permissions.m, which localizes all permission related code for macOS. Mac. Then the keylogger can use these functions in keylogger init to trigger the UI flow for granting those permissions. In addition to accessibility input monitoring, you also need to do this for microphone permission. Great. So the end effect should be a unified system for macOS with which I can do all the permission shit. Okay, so now if I hit enter, the fucking box will become smaller again, and then I shouldn't get a redraw every fucking second or every time I type something. Actually, please, before you start your work, read all related real files related to this task in full. They should all be mentioned above. If not, use a parallel task agent to locate them, so their content is in your context, because we are super explicit. And then create a file, and then let's use the to-do system. Read commands to do. Since this is ad hoc, I'm not running under this under the state machine I showed you earlier yet. And create the folder structure for a task, and put the analysis.md and task.md in there with an initial description. Let's see if it can do this. So my goal is, instead of working ad hoc and YB Cody here, I want to use my to-do system. So I haven't started this work with the to-do system. I just did some investigation ad hoc, and then I kind of came up with a plan actually. And now I want to move over to my to-do system so it's more structured. This is probably work that will span multiple context compactions, so it's nice to have like a serialized state on disk. And it also gives me a way to demo the silly little state machine I built. So it reads all the related files, which is good. Let's see, dialog, keylogger is fine, keylogger dialog, source mac dialog, commands, to-do branch. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So just interrupting here because we'll have permissions.h.m, and instead of dialog permission, call it check permission. Check and wait for permission. Fuck it, we make it super explicit. Because I found that naming your functions in C or any other language more explicitly actually helps Claude to not use too many terms to find what it's searching for. It doesn't help always, but sometimes. I guess that's kind of like the folklore. Okay, so now it manually creates this folder here, which follows the to-do branch thing, which would be the select step. So it initialized this folder with a slug. What's the slug? Come on, show me. Unified macOS permission system, whatever. This looks good. So then it puts the initial task in here based on what the wall of text I wrote here. We can verify that later. And it also has an analysis here, but I'm not sure. How was this analysis? Okay. Okay, now we are in to do branch.md refine stage. Please first perform the analysis with multiple task agents and update analysis.md. Just feed the task agents the task description. While it's doing that, we can look at the description. Create a unified, move all permission logic from main C and dialog H into platform specific code. Create source Mac permission A with single permission chain. Tell us all permission types. That looks good. Created a unified permission handling system for macOS. That. Yep, that's pretty much what I want. Oh, check and wait permission. Implementing a unified permission system to include permissions in macOS build. That's wrong. Remove permission dialogs from source. Remove permissions dialog to creation. Add microphone permission handling to source audio permission using new system. Yeah, this is all wrong. So we need to regenerate the implementation plan. So we're just waiting for the task to finish, which is supposed to analyze the whole code base. And it should also have used multiple concurrent. Oh, this is perfect. There was a compaction before, so I'm not actually getting. As I said, terminal user interface is absolute fucking garbage for this kind of thing. Garbage on top of all the bugs in Claude code. I actually wonder if I posted the wrong URL. For watching. Hey people, if you're actually watching, you can also type in chat. I'm happy to talk because we are entering the stage where I have to wait for a bunch of shit. Like this. And while I like to hear myself talking, it would be way cooler if some of you interacted. Okay. Why does this take so long? Code signing permissions. That was previous analysis. Presets, ideas, model management. Similar additional with model, set default model. Show currently active window. Yeah, all of this is actually already kind of been implemented. I'm just cleaning out stuff I no longer need. The website can go. Source. The tests. Nope, all of this is fine. I would love to clean this up because it's a lot of CMake. But I guess it's simple enough. The real biggie is the main CMake file, which is just terrible. This could probably be cleaned up as well. But not tonight, because Daddy wants to go to bed before midnight. Just want to fix the permissions and make them nice and easy to use for the end user. Oh yeah, I created a bunch of videos, promotional videos with VO3. That was kind of fun. Let's see while this fucks around here. How do I get to VO3? Wow. It's amazing that Google would rank all kinds of grifting websites like this. Or is this actually from Google? Kind of feel it's not. Let's see it. This doesn't look like a Google thing. United Kingdom. Yeah, no, this is not from Google, right? This is just some grifting thing. Yeah, it is. Perfect. And Google, I mean, okay, I understand the sponsored links here, but I definitely do not understand why they would have non-sponsored shit up here. Gemini Google video generation, that looks like it. Yeah, this doesn't work, right? Oh, it does. This reminder. What the fuck is this? Is it here? Oh yeah, those were my attempts.
Yakety! Vibe coding done right! Yakety! Vibe coding done right! Yakety! Vibe coding done right! Yakety! Vibe coding done right!
This is my favorite
Yakety! Vibe
I just press a button, speak, and the computer does my work.
Anyways.
Yakety!
That was this, and this is still not done. Ah, Jesus. Poop. So, is there anything else we can clean up? Probably not. So, let's remove all of the things we deleted. Oh, it looks like these files weren't actually committed anyways. So what is this? Let's remove this. Clean up. First person to write a message in chat gets 1 month of max from me. Let's gamify this, right? Or is it gamification or bribing people? First person to write a message in chat gets 1 month. This is very boring. So let's go back to the task and let's see what it does here. God damn it. I'm old, I can't hit the fucking... Oh, there we go. Okay. Maybe I should build a Visual Studio Code extension that just puts this in a panel I can put anywhere in VS Code. Is it done yet? No, it's not. It's great. Oh my fucking god. It actually built the fucking thing. Why would it do this? And the issue is the main Claude that's calling the sub agent here cannot get intermediary results. So if I spend like 8 minutes now on this stupid task, and I kill it before it ends, then all of this work was for nothing. Unless the agent was instructed. Oh my god. It starts a new one. I think we have enough information on that now. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so sub-agents, great, right? I mean, this is basically unstructured sub-agents, and what sub-agent adds is that you yourself can specify the prompt. But here's the thing, you can just do this, like, let's see. Let's open a new Claude session here. Move this out of the way to have some more room. Actually, let's open up a ghosty session. Ciao. Well, okay. Please spawn a task agent with the following prompt. Oopsie. Let's see. Markdown, let's say, please sleep for 5 seconds, then use open with the bash tool to open up google.com in the browser. And that's it. And we can confirm that this is the prompt that's being set on the task agent. Use this prompt verbatim. And we can hopefully confirm this by just showing details. Prompt, yeah, so it just uses that exact prompt and that's it. This is what sub-agents are, except you don't write your prompt out like this. Yeah, so it did exactly what it's supposed to do. You don't write your prompt out like this. You put that fucking prompt in a file, and then you have a slash command to execute that sub-agent with that exact prompt. You can do this with task agents, and you don't even have to write this out because you can build your own slash command that does exactly this. So you could have like something like sub-agent and then the file name of the, I don't know, clean up the markdown file that contains the exact prompt. And then this slash command would just instruct the main agent to read that file in full and use that verbatim with a task agent. And that's sub-agents, at least from a user perspective. They might do something fancy under the hood. But yeah. Anyways, we're still analyzing. So is this efficient? Nope, this is absolutely not efficient. So let's fuck it up. I think we have a pretty good idea what needs doing by now. Do you agree? Then let's update the description in task.md, remove the implementation plan and work on that plan. One item at a time. That's not a good prompt, but who cares? Okay. Create with a single blah blah function. It takes a function pointer to check if permission is granted. A function pointer to request trigger the system permission string label for the permission and name. Handle all free permissions types uniformly. Accessibility. Input manager for keyboard access. Provide consistent behavior for GUI apps. Shows the highlight guiding users through the permission process. For CLI apps, log instructions and exit cleanly. Handle retry logic when user grants permission. Perfect. Clean up the code base by removing 4 nearly duplicate. Moving on permission actually automate can give permissions. Well, not just move out the permission logic, but remove it entirely from the business logic, which is platform agnostic. Simplify keylogger into checkpoint, return accessible, make the business logic main platform agnostic. Yeah, okay, good. We have that, I guess. Yes, let's use this description. So now it's following the to-do branch. We're in the refine stage where we first research the code base. This fucked up. And then we write out the analysis. Then we draft the description, and it keeps asking me if this is the description I want. And if I'm happy with that, eventually it moves to drafting the implementation plan in here. And again, it will ask me, is this the implementation plan you want to use? If I'm not happy, I'm just adjusting. I found this to be a better approach than going to Gemini and just have it spit out like a dissertation. I don't need a dissertation for something simple as this. I need specific minimal information. And I think this covers it much better than any dissertation Gemini would spit out. So let's see what the implementation plan is. Create a .h, refine component type devs, and check for wait for declaration. Yep. Create source permissions M, implementing the unified permission system with dialog logic. Yep. Update CMake list to include permissions in macOS build. Update. Well, it's not in the platform library for macOS. Why bother Claude with rewriting that single line? Update source Mac keylogger to use new permission system in keylogger. Yep. Use source audio permission to export and check functions. So we want to eliminate both audio permission M and input monitoring, I think it was called. M and header files. Instead, we just need the check and what's it called? Request trigger functions for each of the needed permissions in permissions.m directly. Why spread it across the code base? Remove permission dialog. Update the implementation plan. Did somebody write something? No, I don't think so. Let's see. Oh, there is. Free Max. Wasn't serious about that, but is chat actually disabled? No, it's not disabled. I just didn't have the window up big enough. Oh, I should probably modify my little overlay as well. So Michael, DM me on Twitter and you shall be granted Max. I'm not joking. happy to spread the love before they fuck it up end of August or whatever the deadline was. So let's see what it did. Create source permission, implement all permission checks, requests, and dialog logic. Update to include permissions and remove audio permissions M and input monitoring M. Update source audio to export. Nope. Update source audio to use new permission system instead of audio permission H. Yep, that sounds good. Remove blah blah. Remove input monitoring. Remove permission dialogs from blah blah. Remove permission dialog declaration from source dialog. Yep, that looks exactly like I wanted to do. So Michael, what brings you here? I think there's like a 5 or 10 seconds delay between the actual recording going out and what you see on YouTube, which is kind of annoying. I wonder if they could lower the latency, but it makes this whole chat thing a little less interactive. Unless I made this typey thing. Yeah, nothing happens here. Okay, so what's it doing? Let's follow along. Open the file vs Claude. That's my little MCP. I don't like MCPs, but this one, it needs to be an MCP. So it can open the file it just created for me, so I don't need to locate it. I see. I'm just rambling. So if you have something to contribute or say, type it out in chat and we shall discuss. Permission func check, that looks good. Permission request func, yep. Yep, that looks good. Check it, check a bit more, check, request. Okay. There's no request accessibility permission. What have I done in here? Oh yeah, that's good. You're right, accessibility permissions doesn't have a request function because it can only be granted through system preferences. Let me fix the header. That's a bunch of bullshit. It was the first permission we implemented in the old logic and the only one that actually worked as intended. We called some AX function, I think, which would bring up both the system settings dialog with a list of apps plus our app added automatically and plain system dialog that asks the user if they want to settings dialog. So what the fuck? Michael Fritzenwallner. Sounds very Austrian. You haven't DM'd me, my friend. DM me on Twitter or write. Oh yeah. So Yakety is a voice transcription app. It actually works already. It's just that the macOS permission system is totally fucked. And I'm currently trying to unfuck the permissions and unify the whole thing. We need a bunch of them. Accessibility, input monitoring for key logging. So if you press the key combination to start transcription, to start transcribing, you need that permission. Yeah, no worries. And you might wonder why this is in .h file. There's business logic here, which is platform agnostic, written in C. And then there's platform specific stuff, basically anything UI, or like this permission stuff, which only applies to macOS. And the C business logic just calls into very simple C API on the platform layer. And the platform layer then delegates to implementations in Swift or C++ or whatever the platform is. Marine, go solve the issue, don't come back before you solved it. Make us think and ask yourself. Yeah, well, this is next level. I'm old and slow, so I do everything by hand, Helmut. You're completely correct. Close all free requested functions. Not a header problem. Yep, this looks good. Let's go. Okay, let's check back with our taskmd, and it should now check this bullshit here. And again, terminal user interfaces for agents are fucking stupid, at least in interactive mode. John Carmack would probably not write a voice transcription app himself. So I'm not sure if that's helping the agent to be better. So apparently we have the old fuckaroo with VS Code not being able to update the file. So I just finished this and we are ready to go implement all of this. Why is this already implemented? Oh, interesting. What do we have here? Static declaration of check microphone permission follows non-static declaration. What? Okay. Let's see. Oh, it unfucked it. Very good. So for each of the permissions we need there should be one check and one request implementation, and that should do is process trusted, is permission granted, not granted. This looks good, this looks good. Microphone permission, authorization status for media type audio. This looks good. Then the requests, accessibility, trusted, check option. This looks good, I guess. Oh, that's because of the NS dictionary, yeah. Request microphone permission. Ooh. Why? Dispatch semaphore, wait. This is probably not gonna work, but let's see. Open permission settings. Open system permission reference. Well, what? I see. Yeah, I guess we could do this. So, we should have an enum one per permission. Pass that to show permissions dialog, and a simple const static const jar at the top of permissions, but m with the label for that enum to be displayed in the dialog. Then we can also clean up open permission settings to use the enum for wonky, janky, sloppy string. So yeah, this just like this is not good. We know the permissions we want. Using a fucking const jar here is terrible, so instead we're replacing that with an enum, and for displaying purposes in the dialog we map the enum to a const jar static array that it hopefully creates. Yep, there we go. And then this should be a little cleaner. Can request NSR user says he granted permission. Okay. Show permission dialog. So, and this is the problem with this workflow. I'm not, like, I could parse this garbage here in the very not good terminal user interface and try to follow what it actually changes. In Cursor, you would have these little diffs in here where anytime an additional change is made to a file, you get a diff block here that you can accept or reject individually. I'm missing this for this kind of work. I'm not sure the IDE integration can do that. No, it can't. The Cloud Code integration, I mean. That one sucks hard. So yeah, this is not a nice way to work on this because I'm kind of not, I'm not able to track what it's changing in this file. I kind of am by looking at this, but this is just garbage. I could manually map the file lines from here to here, but again, I don't get a diff, so this is not a good way to work. Which again is a reason why terminal user interfaces for this kind of work, where you have some manual oversight or some human in the loop, they just suck. So this is more geared towards, I suppose, autonomous agents, which aren't a thing, unless you don't care what your code does and if it actually works or actually tests a thing. And there's a lot of projects for which this works great, but I want this to be a nice one that I can maintain once Anthropic starts killing our Max plans. So yeah, I guess I need to review this manually, which could take a little. So these we already reviewed. They still look good. Request accessibility. Yeah, this looks good. This will probably fail because of the semaphore dispatch. Open permission settings. Okay, we will work on that later. Show permission dialog. It gets the permission name, it sets the message. Whoa, holy fuck. Oh my fucking god, what the fuck is going on? So my phone's lying next to me, and Gemini on that phone just decided to interpret what I said as a prompt. Jesus. Garbage. Okay, where are we? So this constructs a dialog, which looks fine to me. And then it runs this as a modal, and we get a response, and then can request. What the fuck is can request? What the fuck is can request? Show wait dialog. Oh, I see. Has permission, users has granted permission. System toggle it on. Click I've granted permission. Yeah, so there's two types of permission dialogues. One where the user can... What the fuck is this? Then click open systems and grant toggle blah blah. Okay, those are just the instructions. Those are the options. I've granted the permission, request permission, open system settings, quit. Well, this is terrible. This should be one step, my boy. There's no need to have two separate things. So for summary permissions, oh, who's there? Did you try using the source control inside VS Code? Well, I could do this, but the problem is if I don't stage the changes in between all of these updates, the source control won't be able to help me. So I'm currently in permission M. And let's see, open changes. There are no changes because this file isn't staged yet, and it's also not in the index, so it can't show me the changes. I would have to ask Claude to stage the file, or actually do a commit, I guess. After each update it does, and that will add more turns, and that's just not workable at all. So let's see, did it unfuck the... where are the options? I granted permission, open system settings, and quit. Already requested. Why is there an already requested? Why is there... This is fun. So if you let the thing do this autonomously, you get complete garbage. Even if your spec is super great and long and dissertation-like. So this is the main entry point for this, and let's just look at this. If you're at the console, we just say this permission hasn't been granted yet, and please open the settings dialog. We could probably open the settings dialog. Let's see what is being done here. The URL, NS workspace. Yeah, I don't have an NS workspace in the CLI app. That requires an AppKit app, I think. So anyways, this is handling the CLI. Then GUI app show dialogs to guide user through request function. Permission requested. Give system time to process request. Oh yeah, okay, so the check function is called first, and if that succeeds, we just return, we're happy. If not, then we immediately call the request function. We don't need this probably, but okay. And then we enter a loop where we check if the permission has been granted. Otherwise, we show a small permission dialog. If that is user has the granted permission, check and retry. Permission not actually granted, loop back. Yeah, that looks good. Although this entire thing could be simpler. Open system settings. Yep, show wait dialog. Yep. A little confused. Open system settings, then we show the wait dialog. And then we continue, we go back up here, we show the permission dialog. Okay. Jesus, I'm so used to using my transcription app, but I can't use it while I'm working on it. Well, I could, but it messes with things. Okay, it fixed this up here. So then in check and wait. Mission, we need check if granted, exit, oopsie. Then if app, show info like we do. This one's good. Then oops, if CLI app, what? Where the fuck did my? Oh my god, it's so bad. If CLI app show info like we do, this one's good. Permission requested. Okay. Request func. Permission request. Why? Wow, this logic is just fucked up. Permission requested. Is this used? This isn't used anywhere after that. So what the fuck is this? Oh Jesus. Fuck off. We don't need to check for null here because we know this is always good. So we first trigger the system dialog and hopefully the app gets added to the system dialog automatically, so the user only has to toggle. And then while true, check if it's granted. Wait. If it was not granted, so actually, yeah, this is okay. Beides, gut und Gott. This is the big fat one. Then that spits out whether the user said the permission was granted. So we go back here. Don't need to check here. Oh, yeah, actually, it checks again and it shows the permission dialog again. Response 1 means, what does 1 mean? Alert, second button, return, open the settings. Oh yeah, so open permission settings, that makes sense, and then show wait dialog. That shows the small dialog that says continue or quit. App sleep, responsive, give the system time to update. Then check if we're here, and then we go back up here. Oh no, this should be a loop. So I've updated. Yep, I missed an O. Jesus fuck. I need my transcription app to work. Writing this sucks. We only want to show the little dialogue via show wait dialogue. That's it. Okay, let's see if we can do this. But it's impressive that it could manage to fuck up this, like, not even 40 lines of code function, I guess. Well, it's a little more, 60. So, while true, show wait dialog, up, check if no, then go back here, else, return. Yeah, that looks good now. Yep, that looks good. So now I think this should be in a good place, except for this here. This is probably gonna fuck shit up really bad, but we will see. And then we have the keylogger implementation for macOS. Martin, yes, I do plan to release the app for the small fee of a one-time payment of maybe 10 euros or so. And you get full source access and can fuck around with it yourself. I actually worked on this for a month now, on and off in the evenings when I don't do anything else. So I think a one-time payment for a lifetime license is fair. And I will probably donate half of that to the Whisper CPP guy, who's also doing Llama CPP. All of these other apps, let's see, Super Whisper. Like, this is very nice, right? I don't want to downplay their work. This is really good. Super Whisper is a really nice app, and the guy deserves all the money he can get. But at the end of the day, I'm not willing to pay a monthly fee for a basic app that just uses Whisper and then takes the output of Whisper, runs it through an LLM to make it better, to make it more readable, so to speak, because Whisper will have a lot of errors in the transcription. Oh, okay. Hashim. Spannend. Ich habe nicht gewusst, dass der Livestream vorgeschlagen wird. Ja, dank dir. Schönen Abend noch, Baba. Anyways, so I don't want to pay this per month. That's like $100 a year for something that mostly works locally and only calls out to an LLM to transform your input, to transform the transcription to something else. There is a free version, voice to text that works in any app, meeting, recording, transcription. Yeah, I guess this works. But what I also want is custom hooks. Custom prompt control. How do you... Oh, that's just a prompt for Whisper. Yeah, that's the Whisper prompt is pretty much useless. Unlimited use of small voice models. I wonder what this means. Because you can download all the Whisper models locally and they all work locally. The biggest one is, I think, 4 gigabytes, and the one that's the most recent, the best, which is Turbo V3, is 1 gigabyte. There's no reason to limit this artificially to small models. Well, there is if you want to make money, I guess, which you don't have to. So again, this is a wonderful app and I recommend it to anyone. It's well thought out and it does a bunch of super good things, but I as a developer want something that I can modify, and I don't want to, like, honestly, I know what works behind this and I don't think this is a fair price. This includes obviously tokens and cloud models. So this is a fair price. Let me backtrack here. This is probably a fair price. I just don't need it. So I would be happy with this, and I would actually be happy to pay for this a one-time fee. But this is not available, so I'm billing this myself because it's simple enough. But yeah, this is very nice. And then there's also Whisper Flow, which I think is a bigger thing. I don't know. They seem to have multiple products, or just this product. Oh my god, they already raised 30 millions, because of course they did. This is also mostly based on Whisper, I think, but it also does a lot of stuff on top of that, and that's fair, but I don't need this stuff. And I could probably build all of this stuff myself if I needed it with minimal effort. Once I get the fucking permissions working, that is. Okay, so it uses the new permission system. Let's look into keylogger C. That's the init function. It first checks for accessibility and then for monitoring. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I wanted. This is good. And now let's see, this was checked in before. This is gone. dialog M. Yeah, this can go. This we can already kill. Keylogger changes, creating event tab. Yeah, this was just from debugging earlier, but this is the actual addition, that's fine. Permissions, we already checked this, Utils, what does this? Open accessibility settings, yep, perfect. Yeah, we can stage this as well. Audio, wow, so it removed this shit, but it didn't remove the Apple specific macro. What's this? Audio C, there we go. So yeah, Claude's gonna leave this kind of shit all over your code base, which you might not want to care about, that's fine, but it also means there are now like an additional 20 tokens in this file, and anytime Claude reads this, it will have a superfluous take 20 tokens that's now in its context, which will make its output quality worse and worse over time if you multiply this across multiple files and multiple locations within these files. Anyways, baked to these. So this looks good. I need a button in this little thing here that lets me kind of put it outside of the view. Yeah, okay, this was a change from an earlier session. Audio permission, yep, this needs to go. And again, what the fuck is this? Like, I told it to remove this shit, and then it just leaves a note. macOS permission dialogs are now handled by... Why? Why is this? And I wonder what kind of system instruction or training training set would cause it to do this bullshit. It's very frustrating. So dialog H. Dialog... Oopsie. H. Kill. We're good here. Main. Checks accessibility. For permission. Handle keylogger permissions. Why would we still need this? Then check input monitoring permission. Set up keylogger. Yeah, this is not good. This is absolutely not what we wanted. But this might actually be a checkbox that's not checked yet in the task. Update Mac keyloggers to use new permission. Yeah, we did this, so you can check this. Okay, we'll just leave this for now, and then the utils, this can also go. CMake lists, permissions, this looks good. Build sh, what the fuck's this? Go fuck off. This we keep. Okay, remove the permission dialog. Oh, interesting. So it did a bunch of those checkboxes in one go. Actually, let me switch over to this view because this is nicer. Oh, it's not nicer because the Markdown preview in VS Code also sucks. Amazing. Okay, we have this. So update main, this is the one that I was lamenting about earlier. Let's see what it does. Yeah, buddy, you're not gonna make it if you only read 40 lines. Because that will leave a bunch of shit in the main C again. Yeah, all of this should go, basically. Because the audio recorder, which is... Oh, actually... Well, let's see. Let's see what it does. Yeah, and this is where the problem starts. So the audio implementation is actually cross-platform. I'm using, where is it? Where is Mini Audio? I'm using Mini Audio, which is a very nice single header implementation of an audio backend, which can do playback and recording across pretty much any platform. It also about 100 lines of code, 100,000 lines of code. So the guy maintaining this, yeah, my heart goes out to you. Good job, buddy. This is amazing. I think it even has MP3 decoding and all kinds of shit in here. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's very easy to use. That was why I use it. So the audio implementation is basically can be considered business logic, cross-platform business logic. And now if the keylogger reports to the business logic that the key was pressed, that is the key combination was pressed, then we are now trying to call into the platform-specific functions here. But that is not what we want. What we want is to check this permission on startup, which would be in app main, app run, app quit, app init, I guess. Yep. Because all of this code gets compiled to a static library for the platform, so there are no linker issues with the main app, and I want this audio check, permission check to go here. The audio permission check should go into source mac app m because it's macOS specific, and we can basically do it on startup. That will make main.c permission checking less. Wow, that makes no sense. Let's see if it does the thing. Oh, actually, I am never using this thing here. I think it's super confusing. I like my fork. I like this layout, and there's a lot more room to display diffs. Sometimes dedicated apps are better. Yeah, no, let's just boop in app.m. Sometimes it's nice to help it a little locating files because it doesn't take as many turns. And we are also approaching the limits. So let's see. Okay, this is what I want. I could just smoke test the build meanwhile. This is actually a full clean build of Whisper and all the related stuff. So it did build successfully, that's good. It probably doesn't run. Yakety CLI. So this tells us, nope, that seems to be the old fucking binary. This only built the transcribe executable? What the fuck's going on? Oh, there we go. Yep. Reference from sim not found. Yep, that's cool. Perfect. Now the microphone permission check in the app. So put that in Mac. Put it here. Check wait for permission. Check microphone permission. Request file. Actually, we should just take the enum. It knows internally which check and request methods to use for a specific permission enum. This way we don't need to import this shit or export it in the header, I guess. Actually, that shouldn't be in the permissions header. It is. Yep. I guess that's why it made these static in the implementation file earlier, because it kind of knew that we shouldn't do it like this. Oh, this is so nice. Now, if this eventually works like I want, then I have a single fucking C function that I can call in other projects, other macOS desktop projects to do the permission stuff. Mostly, at least I hope I get this to work. Yeah, I have to say the update function, which takes an old string from the existing file and that's to be replaced by a new string. This actually improved over the last 2 months or so. So they worked on this, it seems. It's hard to tell what exactly they improved, whether they made the prompt or the tool description better, or whether they fine-tuned the Claude code model or the Claude model. I don't know. But it's significantly better. I get a lot less editing errors now. So let's see. Check and wait for permission. Check function. Chip, chip, chip. Yep, this looks good. This looks good. And this is... We still have this in here. Do we need this? Don't think we need this. We can put this as a forward declaration, but these are all forward declared already, so this should be built. Let me put this over here. And then let's kill this terminal. So okay, it's updating app. Why is there still a check and wait for permission? Oh my god. Main.c still has handle keylogger permissions. Is this used in here somewhere? Set up keylogger. Yeah, we don't need this. Let me fix this manually because Claude's just gonna take forever to do this itself. Okay, then let's check the diff again. App. Let's see. Yep, check for the microphone permission on app startup on macOS. Clean this up to a single beautiful C function that just does all the stupid shit in the back. Yep, figure out the check func. Why do we need an exists here? Well, I guess this isn't exhaustive. Doesn't matter, it's our code. We know we are always good citizens and use this appropriately. And then let's see what we do here. Yeah. Wait for permission dialog. Chip, chip, chip. Why would it have this in here? We need to kill this. So, actually, let's do a quick organize. Wait, where is my... Oh, I don't have an organize import in C. I guess that's fine. Set up keylogger, that looks good. Handle first run, that looks good. That looks good. Audio recorder start, this looks good. This looks good. Yeah, eventually I need to clean up these stupid comments. This also looks good. This also looks good. Okay, let's look at the diff again. Good, 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 good. And then I think we just need to resolve the linker error, which means linking. Let's see. Check Do not support implicit functional declarations. Okay, we're missing the hey. It's not used to rest directly. This is curious. Oh. Yeah. So I guess it wasn't as smart to remove these here. And are these static? No, they're not. So this should not work. Linking. Then we just need to fix up the CMake build to resolve these linker errors. We could probably do this faster ourselves. But I don't know what the library is called. We are currently probably linking that to the macOS app. Platform frameworks, where's this defined? It's not defined at all. Well, oh, it's probably in this mess here. Platform setup. Yep, there we go. AppKit, Core Foundation. Huh, interesting. Didn't know that. Okay. Platform setup. So this is all that was achieved so far, which is not a lot, I have to say. Well, I guess this file, which is about 200 lines of code. So I started this, I think 2 hours ago. But there was a lot of cleanup involved, and I think this still is faster than doing it by hand. Yes, this looks good now. This is also good. This is also good. And the app calls to microphone permission. Yeah, this looks good. We just need to fix the linker error. Oh, okay, it's IO-kit. Let's look back into our task.md. How far along we are. I'm just rewriting this manually because this is faster. Update main C to remove permission. Apple specific permission code. Remove util open accessibility. Oh yeah, utils H open accessibility. It no longer exists. Nope, I already did this. Test all free permutations. Sounds good, yes. Function pointer, universal permissions handling to a single usable pattern. Yeah, this node is absolutely useless. And then create permission. Oh. Yep, looks good. So it compiles. And that means I find this hard to follow.